Welcome back to Building with Joy. For the past year, I have been slowly transforming my old 1980s home and even building out some cabinets for my garage. So far, I have had the absolute joy of building out this chest of drawers and stumbling my way through it. I actually appear to have broken the drawer slide. I kind of just had to force it. Drawers don't really work for everything though, because some items are just too big and bulky or wonky shaped to fit in a drawer. Plus, drawers are just so permanent. I wanted something that could be a little bit more dynamic. So today, I'm going to be showing you how I made this adjustable shelving. With every project I take on, let me tell you something. I have very little idea what I'm doing, and the whole thing is just one big learning experience. I know that mistakes are inevitable when you're learning something new, but I somehow managed to sit and think for like 30 minutes about what I was going to do, and then I went off and immediately messed up. Before I tell you how I messed up, let me explain my original plan. So, I saw a video recently from the Workshop Companion, great channel by the way, where they made a pigeonhole organizer, which is basically like a cubby organizer, but they made the shelves adjustable. As soon as I saw that, I was like, I need it! I like to pretend that I can do all the things I see on the internet, so I made up some plans in my head where I would essentially build two cabinets, smash them next to each other, and then give them a shared top, bottom, and back. Of course, the sides would all need some slots so that it would have adjustable shelving. For this first sheet of plywood, my plan was to first cut out the top and bottom panels. I wanted the wood grain to be left to right. I know this is plywood, so the grain direction doesn't matter, but I just thought it would look nicer that way, okay? Dang, get off my back, wood grain police. Unfortunately, from the very first cut, there was no way I could make both the top and bottom out of this remaining piece of plywood, so I had to change my plans almost right out the gate. Luckily, I realized that I can just use this cut to make the four sides, so I didn't really waste the wood, and that's all that matters. The new plan was to just cut this chunk into two big pieces, and then I could cut these two pieces roughly in half on the table saw, and boom! I will have my four sides, and I'll figure out the top and bottom later. With the sides ready for table sawing, now I can actually make the top and bottom using this other chunk, and they will have that lovely horizontal grain. One thing I started doing differently for this project was actually giving my circular saw a clamp to serve as a guide. The hope was this would give me less willy-nilly cuts, and I would say it mostly succeeded in doing that. I think as I got to the smaller pieces though, I felt too hippo to keep dealing with the clamp, and I would just wing it. This method works pretty well if you can just remember where the saw needs to be. I think I changed this like 3 times because I kept putting the clamp in the wrong spot. I blame the heat. Now I can cut this piece in half and get my top and bottom panels. In an effort to reduce wasted wood, I decided I could just make the whole cabinet ever so slightly less deep, and that way I could avoid having to cut into my third and final sheet of plywood. It's time for table saw cuts. If you already forgot why I need the table saw after all those cuts, it's because I didn't actually cut the sides out yet. I just cut 2 large chunks that I can whittle down to their right dimensions on the table saw, and it will get me much cleaner cuts. It's kind of like when you pack 10 pairs of underwear for a 3-day trip. You just feel better knowing that if you poop your pants 3 times a day, you're still good to go. Cutting the sides using an oversized panel is my 10 chonies. If you've never used a table saw, all of this setup probably looks like a lot of unnecessary steps to do a single cut. The long bar off to my right is the rip fence, and it helps you keep the board straight as it goes through the saw. You have to figure out where the fence should go based on what the final length or width is that you're aiming to get though. This big plastic clear thingy is just a blade guard. There's so many YouTube channels where people use table saws, and in almost all of them, they never use this guard. It's weird to me because I learned woodworking through Woodworking for Mere Mortals. That is another great channel, by the way. And they strictly advise you to always use the blade guard, especially if you're new to woodworking. There are apparently 30 to 40,000 table saw injuries a year. So it makes absolutely no sense to me that folks wouldn't just put the darn guard on and save their fingers if they can. Again, you need the fence to be straight. And that means it has to be the same distance to the edge of the saw on both the front and the back ends. You'll see me either using a combination square or a ruler to do this check, and you need to recheck this every time you move the fence, ideally. I can't tell me! At this point, I have the width of the side panels donezo, but I need to figure out the height. I'd calculated that the height of the side panels would be 26 inches minus the height of the top and bottom panels. Once I have that magic number, I can cut the sides down to their final height. What makes this shelf adjustable is that there will be multiple slots the shelves can go into. But first I need to mark down where I'm making those slots. I'm not totally sure yet around where I want the shelving to be, but I know that I don't want the lowest shelf to be too high off the ground. This is a side panel, by the way, just so that makes a little more sense. So the one caveat is that I am going to try pocket holes again, and that means that there might need to be some room for where that hole is going to be. So I'm going to start at 3 inches and then mark another at 4, and I'll just kind of go every inch, and then I'll skip a few because I don't think realistically I'm going to want to even make this many dados to begin with. So then we're at 9, 10, and 11 inches, and then I'll just move this over and rinse and repeat. Hello. Okay, so it's actually a separate day now, but that is because 2 things. 1, the cameras were all either overheating or dying. So I basically was forced to just call it quits yesterday a little bit early. But today I have, I don't know, maybe an hour or so that I can work on this, and that's probably what it's gonna look like from here on out. So I will do what I can in the next hour or so. Let's go. Something I want to get more comfortable with is making test cuts. And getting the blade height right for these dados felt like a great chance to do that. For some reason, I lost all sense of reason while doing this testing though, and I did something you should never do, which is freehand a piece of wood through the saw. Usually you want some guide here, and in particular it's usually the rip fence that you'll use, which was that bar I mentioned earlier. For kickback reasons, that was risky, and I definitely felt the sketchiness of it as soon as I did it. Luckily, I didn't have to do too much finagling to get the blade height right, because I have some measurement blocks that are nifty for things like this. This project was challenging for me, not so much because of the technical aspect, but because of the sheer quantity of passes on the table saw that I had to make. In total, I made 32 dados. That may not sound like a crazy number by itself, but I need you to consider that in order to even make a single dado, I had to pass the same panel 3 to 5 times, chopping a little more and a little more until the 1/4 inch dado could fit the shelf. So this comes out to somewhere between 100 and 160 passes. I know these must be rookie numbers to some other makers out there, but for me, this was like its own Guinness World Record. The one thing, though, was that I never quite could feel confident with how I was actually doing the cuts. Literally the whole time I felt awkward and I couldn't tell if there was a better way to position myself or something to get the wood through less awkwardly and generally more safely. So I would love some advice if any of you want to share that in the comments. This is what I got done today. And then also, I'm noticing more and more of these scorch marks. And I looked online and I guess that's a sign that your blade needs to be changed. I already ordered another one, but I don't think you'll be here for another few days. Yeah, I actually am using the same blade that I bought this table saw with, and I bought it used, so I have no idea how much usage that blade already had. I got a new blade. This one is 60 teeth. And it is 10 inches, 5/8 inch arbor. Yeah, I've never changed a table saw blade. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I've known that this needed to be changed and I just haven't done it because, I don't know, I guess it's intimidating. I never have changed the blade before. Everything about it feels scary. I know there's a thingy. Oh, they're right here. There's like the two tools that you need, and they are screwed in. So, I have no idea why this has this. And I don't know which size I'm supposed to use. Can I just bonk this? Because I'm about to bonk it. This is gonna look real stupid, I'm pretty sure, but... But if it works, then who cares? And then blade. I am already sweating like crazy. It's so freaking hot in here. And the teeth have to point to me. How do I do this? How do I tighten this? Yeah. I mean, that's like as tight as I can get it. So it's probably fine. New blade, new me. Ha! Can't even recognize this table saw anymore. It's got a whole new haircut. It's so weird. It's like I need to just paint it red now. I'm not sure why I just am now realizing that I have to get these slots, these dados, in the exact same spot for the other boards, or the shelves won't actually be able to work. The possibility or the room for error here is like at 1,000,000%. So I'm gonna try to like measure and write down where they roughly are, and then see if I can mostly rely on the measurements that I write down. But I just went from like, oh yeah, this is fine, I just got to do this 3 more times, to, oh God, I have to get this exactly right 3 more times. Well, I guess we'll see how it goes. Okay, I need to call it for today. I'm not sure what it was that was going wrong here. I think the numbers I was using, I wasn't accounting for the size of the kerf, which is the size of the blade. And so I was making all the dados slightly too wide. So I think I know how I'll correct for that tomorrow, but I'm done today. I'm done. They're also, it almost looks like if they were slightly different heights for each one. And I'm also not sure why that's happening. Anyways, I'll see you tomorrow. All right, so I'm on my lunch right now, but I'm gonna try to see how much I can get done with these dados since they seem to take forever. So let's get to it. Well, I feel like I'm gradually getting the hang of this, and I think I'm accounting for the kerf, which is the blade width, correctly now because it felt a lot smoother. But anyways, my lunch is over, so I have to get back at this I'm getting revenge. I have to get back to this after work. So I'll see you later this evening. Bye. Oh my god, I can't believe that I'm finally done making all the crazy amount of dados. I don't think I ever could have imagined that I was going to need to make that many dados, like back to back. Alright, we have the sweatband out today because it is really hot. Today I'm gonna try to see how much I can get through. My goal is to at least get through assembling the cabinets, maybe starting making some of the actual shelves, because honestly I'm just gonna keep them really simple. Like, they're not gonna have handles or anything. I don't really anticipate needing to use the adjustable aspect of this very much. Maybe if I ever am like reorganizing stuff is when I would need to take the shelves out, but I'm hoping I can get most of everything done today, but I don't know how optimistic I'm being. And yes, I'm using pocket screws again. I'm giving that another try. I feel like this time this time will be the time. I can feel it. So let's hope that it works out. Pocket screws. Our frenemy we hate to love, but love to hate. I keep seeing content on Instagram and YouTube where people build cabinets with apparently so much ease, and they nearly always seem to be using pocket screws at some point in the build. So I feel very convinced that it's worth my time and energy to master these a bit more. I think I've had more successes than failures with pocket screws, but all it takes is one mess up to completely rattle your confidence. I don't know if any of you have had this happen when you were a kid, but like, I remember there were some foods I didn't eat for like 10 years or something, all because I got sick from them once. The one I vividly remember was pancakes, but I think that happened with eggs too? Anyways, I'm going off track here. The biggest mistake I have made multiple times with pocket screws was making the hole on the wrong side of the panel. How do you put it on the wrong side, you say? Look, anything is possible if you put your mind to it, or if you don't put your mind to it. Once the pocket holes are done, it's time to actually assemble this bad boy. Right out the gate, I'm faced with a dilemma. Wait, how the heck does this work? Do I try using clamps again, or do I wing it? I think I'm going to try to do this without the corner clamps, and I'm just going to try to like put a lot of pressure on the wood as I am drilling and make sure that I drill in and out with the screw. And I don't know, maybe I'll use the cheese again, and I mean the wax if you don't know what I'm talking about, and see if that actually does anything. But yeah, it just feels like It feels like the clamps gave me a sense of security, maybe. It's time to take off the training wheels. Let's just attach it to like the bottom, I guess. We'll see what I do. With that settled, I can start attaching the side panels to the bottom of the cabinet. Gosh, I'm still so skeptical that I can do this without clamps. But I saw a lady do it. I saw a lady do it recently, and now I'm convinced that I should be able to do it too. It just feels like it should be possible. The thing is, I have 2 hands. Maybe she had 3 hands. I don't know if I just missed that. Screwing in the pocket screws turns out to be kind of wonky because sometimes the screws seem like they're not actually seated super well. It's just spinning. That doesn't seem right at all. One screw even pokes through the panel, which is exactly what I was trying to avoid. Can you see? That's a screw sticking out. Okay, so then what I want is for this to go basically just along this line. Nice, baby! Yes, this is the bottom. So then I have to put the top on. I am making things! Ultimately, the panels do seem to hold together though, so that's good enough for me. There we go. Alright, that's so cool. Yay! Okay, I need to grab the top. Alright, I'm gonna try to flip it over, I think. I'm so scared of how this is gonna go, but I'm gonna try. After installing all the screws on one side, I have to figure out how to actually attach the top panel. Oh, I can lift it, so maybe I will. Oh, I didn't think so. Oh, careful. Okay, I didn't think that was no. This one's uglier. With the finish line in sight, it is so easy to start making silly mistakes in the hopes of being done. In this case, I nearly forgot to actually attach the top panel to the outermost sides. It's done in that the cabinet part of this is done. The pocket screws are done. The cheese is done. Why did I think that I was done? I haven't even screwed in the sides. Okay, I need to do that first. We have a thing again. It's a thing. With the assembly done, it's time to start making the shelves. I'm using some 1/4" MDF I already happen to have. I already know it's not enough material to make all the shelves though, so I do end up having to go to the store to get some more MDF panels. And to my surprise, I couldn't find any at Lowe's that weren't 3/4" thick, which would obviously not work since the dados are roughly 1/4". So I had to compromise and just get some 1/4" plywood. I really keep feeling like I need to just take the plunge and get a track saw, or at least a track for my circular saw, because cutting big panels on the table saw is just way too awkward, and cutting everything without a track is always funny business. But setting up the clamp is also pretty annoying. I can literally see the finish line from here, but unfortunately a couple of the shelves don't seem to want to fit. 2 panels. For some reason the bottom ones are the ones that... I'm really looking forward to completely disassembling that old table and turning it into stuff for cats. Oh my god. Did I really make it like too snug? I really did. Why did I do this? Yeah, the table definitely can't slide out over this. I didn't give any clearance. I just measured exactly the space and said, I'll use 100% of that. But that was probably not the right move. I feel like if I sanded it like crazy, that I could get it into a smaller footprint. It would take a lot of sanding though. But who knows? Maybe that would work. I'll take it. I'll take it. It's fine. It's good. It's great. We're happy here. By the end of it, I can't actually get all the stuff that I would have wanted to get onto these shelves into them, but that's okay. I feel like they got a pretty decent amount of stuff in them, and I definitely can reorganize this again later. I am genuinely so proud with how this came out. It isn't going to win any awards, but I learned a lot in the process, and I feel even more confident about continuing to make cabinets for the rest of the house. With this project done, I feel ready to take apart my old workbench and repurpose that into a 3D printer cart and maybe even another cat house. Can I just say that this project was pretty cool because, for the most part, things didn't go nearly as wrong as they did with the drawer cabinet situation. That was a whole different fiasco. Okay then, I'm wrapping up this project, at least, this particular shelf. The garage project is not done, so there's gonna be more projects to come for my garage transformation. So if you want to see those, follow along, subscribe, and join us in the next one. Bye-bye!